Good. Hello and good morning. Buenos dias a todos and welcome to this year's convention from AMIS this May 2021. First of all, my congratulations to AMIS, to the good organization of this second digital convention, and many thanks for giving us the opportunity to be part of the convention together with Mr. Nissim Tapiro from Next Insurance in Palo Alto, California. But Nissim himself is today in Tel Aviv, Israel, as the Chief Client Technology Officer and also co-founder from the company Next Insurance. Now it will be very interesting for all of us. So it is a great pleasure to introduce Nissim to you. Like I mentioned, he's the CTO of Next and the co-founder and has a complete digital background, and also Next Insurance with his experience focusing on the SME segment in the United States. In Spanish, we call it the pymes companies, which is the backbone of every economy. Nissim and myself were introduced through a partnership Munich Re has together with Next Insurance, and it's about of three pillars. One is investment, the other one is product development, and the other one is also our core business, which is reinsurance. So let's give Nissim a warm welcome to the AMIS convention. And thank you very much, Nissim, for your time to share your experience today with us and on our way to the whole digitalization of a customer experience in the insurance company. But before we get started with the interview, let's have a look how Next approached the SME sector during the pandemic, and we see a small video of 3 minutes.
When mid-March hit, it was kind of like the ultimate gut punch.
I was mandated to close March 24th.
Everything had just completely canceled. About $12,000 worth of weddings just for March. And then April canceled, and then May is canceled.
We lost everything in a very short amount of time. And that's the reality that we're living in right now.
It's not fun. I'd just rather be back to work, you know what I mean?
It's gonna make me cry.
I'm going to be making a table.
Gonna go dig.
Dance. Build.
Feeding people. Performing.
Here we are. We're down in the living room.
Ready to learn salsa? Let's get to it.
Here you go.
I've been doing a small planter box.
Gonna be printing this on various color shirts.
It's important that you keep your elbows locked towards the side of your body.
This meal, we are donating it to a family in need.
Mural updates.
We like to call this social fitnessing.
Doing like some live DJ broadcasts, so giving people a little bit of music in their homes, lifting people's spirits.
Going out to show our appreciation for a hospital here in Houston.
Being able to give them these kits will really allow them to be able to learn through play.
Isn't this exciting?
All right, let me show you.
Staying safe. We'll get through this. Oh!
What?
That's a wrap.
So now after the video, we come to you, Nissim. First of all, congratulations to the latest round of capital you have raised in the new valuation of Next Insurance, which is now around $4 billion. Wow. Huh? Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and when and how Next Insurance got started?
Sure. Thank you, Max, and thank you for the warm words. first, it's a pleasure to be here virtually with you. I wish I was in Mexico, but at least virtually I'll be there. Start with a short background about myself and the company. So I come from technology background. I've been building software for more than 20 years. Started my career with Mercury Interactive, that was with the automatic testing frameworks. And in 2006, Mercury was acquired by HP, which gave us, both myself and a few other friends, signs that we need to move on. And in 2007, both myself and a few friends established Check. Check was a company that was focused on personal finance and bill pay for the US market. And it was acquired by Intuit at 2014. And in 2016, we thought it would be a good opportunity to take what we learned from our initial entrepreneurship experience with Check, which was great, but we also felt that there is a lot of lessons we need to implement and do better. So we looked for an opportunity in the market, leveraging our abilities in building financial digital services on one hand, and looking for an opportunity to really make a change in the life of a big number of customers. And we landed on the small business insurance. Small business insurance in the US, when we started Next, was mostly served by insurance agents selling carrier policies from big carriers, and the whole process was very outdated. And we felt this is a big opportunity for us to really make a difference, to establish a brand, and to solve a very painful problem for a large population of small businesses. And that's the reason we started Next. Fast forward to 2021, after 5 years, we're very fortunate to have partners like Munich Re help us establish the service, acquire hundreds of thousands of customers, and really serve them across many line of businesses and many class of businesses with a tailored insurance that is affordable and very simple to use and completely digital.
Yeah, wow, that's really interesting. But let's look when you started with Next Insurance, after you already had a variety of experience from the digital world. What at the beginning were your most important challenges when you started, and how did the company evolved in the first years?
Yeah.
Maybe also looking about the technology you are using, because this is very interesting for us here in Mexico.
Yeah. So when we started Next, and both myself and the other co-founders of the company, we knew very little about insurance. None of us came from insurance background, and practically we were learning the basics, and the terminology even was new to us. So at the beginning, it was very much about learning. And one of the things that we learned is that there are many, know-hows in the market about our business, but when we try to understand really what's the motivation behind these know-hows, we understood that this is very outdated and very, very much based on assumptions that are running for tens of years. Nobody knows really why. So part of our way of thinking in the early days was to really challenge any assumptions that we faced, and to really understand to the bottom what's the motivation. And this helped us really change and came with a fresh approach to many of the things that were traditionally treated as a a taboo or as things that nobody can think of doing in a different way. And this ignorance, in a way, in the insurance space helped us innovate and help us find ways to serve our customers.
Wow, that's really interesting. So you mentioned two important, you gave two important messages already. One, the traditional part of the insurance was a little bit outdated through the whole value chain. And the other was your customer focus, no? But then your customer focus on tailor-made, I imagine it has to do a lot of also machine learning, or maybe you can give us a small panorama, a little bit explain to us, how do you do customer acquisition, customer retention, and how do you focus on this segment of the industry?
Sure. So we try to reach our customers in a variety of ways. There are all the traditional digital ways of doing business by advertising on the social networks, by connecting to groups of professions, advertising over Google for people who are on the lookout for insurance, etc. So these are the traditional ways. We also look to meet the customer close to the point of sale. So at the point where they actually need the insurance for the first time, meet them there, give them the right solution, and by that the conversion is quite high, and the customer gets what they need. I'll give an example. We've been working for a couple of years now with Nissim, which is the sport association that train personal trainers. So after a personal trainer goes through the course with Nissim, they in order to start working as a personal trainer, they need insurance. And the collaboration with Nissim to offer the right insurance for personal trainers at the point that these personal trainers finish their training is very valuable, both for the personal trainer who can get on the run and get going in his profession right away by signing up to Next Insurance digitally, but also for us to meet the customer when and where they need the insurance.
Mm-hmm. No, sounds very interesting. But let's be very practical. If I would have a bakery in the United States, somewhere in the middle of Texas, in San Antonio, how do I get to know about Next Insurance? Or do you approach me proactively because you look for a certain industry from the SMB business and say, okay, there are associations and you try to catch up through the associations? Or is it more reactive that I, as the owner of the bakery, have an advertisement of Next and I do a touch base with you?
Yeah. So the answer is both.
Okay.
If you as a bakery think you need insurance and you come to your favorite search engine and look for bakery insurance, you're most likely to find both our advertising and our organic results quite high for you. So you can learn very fast that we serve bakeries and we have the right offering for you. We also go profession by profession. So we have dedicated product and information for more than 1,000 professions in the US. So that the experience from the very beginning, when you land on our pages, to the actual policy you will acquire at the end of the day, are very much tailored to your needs and desires. On the other hand, many people not necessarily know about digital insurance. Many people even don't know that they may need to have insurance. So we are also proactively being active by in the social media, targeting professions like you. If you're a bakery, you are very likely to see an advertising of Next when you open Facebook. And this is not because we advertise broadly in Facebook, but rather we have ways to identify customers that are potential target audience for us and to advertise for these guys.
Okay, so we have both ways. For one side, I get to know you from the advertisement. For the other side, you also approach to me, no? And the most relevant for us in Mexico here is the importance of insurance is not really in our DNA. So many of the SME businesses, they do it, it's family business. We have a big formal sector, we have a big informal sector. I don't know how this is in the US. I suppose it's more a formal sector. But to raise the importance for the needs of insurance, did you work on this specifically as well? That it's a mindset type of thinking, no? That the bakery needs insurance. Maybe he doesn't even think about insurance. Yeah. What did you do about this? Because there are so many unexplored customers in this segment.
Yeah, it's a very important point what you raised, and also in the US, a big chunk of small businesses do not have insurance, and this exposes them in many ways. Like they can be great professions. Let's say your bakery, you do great work, but unfortunately something happened and somebody break a tooth or something like that. This is a liability on you, and this liability can quickly translate to a lawsuit, and this can take a lot of effort from you as a small business to pay for these low expenses and to treat the customer that was hurt. And it doesn't matter if it's your fault or not, etc. It's a matter of, you know, being in this situation that can take you out of business. So this can be very bad, and insurance is exactly the solution for these cases. And that's the reason part of our effort when we outreach to customers is to also educate and help them understand why insurance is so important. More than that, there are types of coverage like workers' compensation, which is a mandatory in many of the US states. So as a business, if you don't have the insurance, you're in a breach with the local laws, and this by itself can be very problematic for you. So yeah. also this, to educate the customer that they must have insurance in order to operate, it's a big chunk of what we do.
Yeah, obviously you have mandatory laws in the US which helps as well, and then to raise the awareness and the education. So it's a mixture of those three factors, if I understand you correctly, no? Correct. So I imagine this was also a big challenge at the beginning of Next. I mean, you did a great job. And when you look a little bit back on the biggest challenging you had, or what went wrong, how did you deal with it? Because I mean, a startup also has to have a certain failure culture, no? And what would you do different today?
Yeah, so we do a lot of mistakes, and the important thing about mistakes is to do them fast. Like we don't, you know, punish ourselves on mistakes. What we agonize is when a mistake happens and it took us more time to realize the mistake than it should have. So that's the culture that we're trying to, that we're creating at Next. Understand fast, learn fast, a lot of things to learn, a lot of experiments we did in the business failed. And this is, you know, the startup culture, and what we bring from our years of experience in building a digital service is about trying stuff, making a lot of tests with customers, with different segments of customers, to understand really what's working for them and what's not. It's, you know, you can have the most brilliant people in the room and they can have a lot of theses, but until the point that you really go to the market and experiment with the customers, you don't really know. And that's the muscle we build and enhance day in, day out at Next.
Yeah, I also imagine it's a great challenge for you to put the cultures together, no? For the one side, you have the technology in Tel Aviv, you have the other people in Palo Alto in California, you have your customers all over the US. So you really need this red line of culture, I suppose, no? And what I also learned is you develop your own products, or sometimes we do it together, you do it with the reinsurer, no?
Yeah.
But was this a big challenge for you? Did you link up? Did you partner up with somebody from the insurance industry, or did you really do it from the scratch by yourself?
Yeah. So when it comes to the technology behind Next, it's whole custom made. It's whole proprietary our technology. So everything from the experience of the customers to the tools that helps us serve the customer to the claims tools, everything is built by ourselves. We do not deploy any third-party tools from the insurance industry, and this helps us now to really control our destiny in a way. Like, we can do whatever we like. We are not limited in any way with the limitations or integration challenges of third-party tools. So that's on the technology side. And at the early days, this was a very heavy lifting to establish all the policy admin system and the servicing tools, etc. But we have a very big technology group mostly in Israel, and this group of more than 150 engineers is the machine behind the Next technology. So that's on the one hand. As you mentioned, in the early days, in order to get to the market fast and in order to experiment, and we discussed how important is experimenting in our culture, then we worked with third-party insurance carriers to go faster to the market with outside insurance product, and this helped us learn and get the experience, so that at the time we were ready to go and file our own products, we had quite some knowledge about the insurance products and what the competition is building.
Wow!
So at the early days, we were operating as an agency, and this on one hand helped us, in a few months from the foundation of the company to be in the market and experiment.
Wow, very interesting. So now we have looked at a little bit where you come from in the past of Next Insurance, the present, and you also said you have 150 engineers working only on technology.
That's
wow.
Correct.
And trying out and always developing new stuff. So let's have a look now. Let's jump a little bit into the future. I suppose the things you mentioned, you would recommend it. You would say, I do it again, because you have a good experience, no? And if you see Next Insurance today with all the capital you have raised and the products you are launching in the market, and you're working in the whole US, where do you see your company in the next as a next step or mid-time future in the US? Or could you also imagine expanding to neighbor countries and have some partnerships here in Mexico, where Mexico is very close to the US? Or are we not so quick at the moment?
Yeah, thanks for asking. So we're today focused on the US market, and we're still small. Like, this is more than $130 billion market in for the small business insurance market. So we're still small in this market, and I think one of the opportunities and challenges we will be facing in the next couple of years is establishing our brand. Like, we want to be at a place where every small business you encounter in the US and you ask them, what's the brand for insurance for businesses, they will say Next. so establishing the brand is one of the challenges we're facing. We're also in the journey of supporting more and more types of businesses across more and more types of coverages. As you may know, a business needs many types of coverages. This can go from liability to commercial auto to property to worker comp. There are many types of insurance, and each type of coverage is a policy by itself. It requires filing, it requires building the underwriting for it, the rating for it. So, and we're committed to our message to the customer that whatever we deliver is really tailored to their needs, and it's really contain what they need and do not contain what they don't need. So delivering on this message means that we need to be very fine and granular in our offering, and this takes time. We serve today hundreds and hundreds of types of businesses, more than thousands of types of businesses, but there are many more types of businesses that we don't serve yet. There are line of businesses, there are type of coverage that we unfortunately do not serve today for our customers. So expanding and building the full matrix of our offering is something that keeps us busy. As far as going abroad to Mexico and other places, I'm sure it will come down the road. We're today, and this is, you know, one of the strengths of a startup company is to be really focused and solve very good a problem. So keeping this focus in the US market currently helps us, and there is a lot more we can expand in the US market. And that's the reason we are not looking to go abroad the US in the near future, but I'm sure we'll get there.
Yeah, thank you. Nissim, I imagine, I understand that you're focusing on the yes, also the size of the market you were describing and the chances you have already to develop, no? But thank you also for opening the doors for our audience here, that at one time we get touch points, or we can get in touch with you or your colleagues from Next Insurance if we talk of inspiring and experiences also on this segment, no? Here in Mexico, I would say we are also in a certain transformation phase. It's a challenge for us, the digitalization. Some things worked have very good. And maybe you can give us, on the last minutes we have on this nice interview, you can give us a little bit suggestions when we try to move on the digitalization. What would be your 3 main topics where you say, okay, guys, have a look on this, this, and this? What will be your tips?
Yeah. Okay, first, I think we should not be afraid of going digital. Like there is, especially in the insurance space, there was a lot of fear in going digital, a lot of fear from fraud, etc. I think the only way to solve it is to jump into the water and start swimming and start offering customer with digital insurance, learn fast. That's the second thing, and we discussed it. Be focused in learning, be focused on experimenting, and maybe the third thing I would recommend is around bringing the customer phenomenal service. Like in the digital space, your brand and name can be very fast being built, but also on the other hand, if you're not doing a good service to your customer, it can be very fast can hurt you. So being very focused on delivering phenomenal service to the customer, delivering phenomenal products to the customer is the way to go.
Mm-hmm. No, very good. That's very interesting, those 3 messages you give us, and especially on the customer centricity or the customer service. I think we are all working very hard on this. No, but now, Nissim, I'm very sorry. I have to look a little bit on the time as well, and the convention also continues. I think it was a great pleasure for talking to you. Thank you very much for exchanging with you and your experiences. We all believe this is also our future, the way to digitalization, the way of digital insurance, and we are obviously in a different stage as you are at the moment. But we also move on this. So thank you very much. And I hope we can see us either in Palo Alto or see us to see where your technology heart is in Tel Aviv in Israel. Thank you very much and all the best to you and all your team from Next Insurance.
Thank you, Max. And I hope you enjoy the conference. And it's been a really pleasure to be with you today.
Perfect.